Hello everybody, this is Frogman. Welcome back to FTB Skies. Last episode we did a little bit of cleaning up on some quests as well as doing a little bit of wandering around in the nether, and I spent a little bit more time off camera. I go downstairs a couple of things here just to kind of look through some of the stuff that we could find in the nether, and we've managed to gather up quite a bit of usable stuff, or at least things that I'm certain we can use going forward later on. A lot of it's just some random things that, we do what we do with, and there are some things that we're going to have to mess around with, I think, later on as we kind of work through, especially with the hypothesis mod and possibly some of the other things. Did get several more jetpacks to the point that I went ahead and just found the best one out of the whole thing, or at least mostly the best one, I'm figuring, and then upgraded it to the level at the height at which we can go, which is, I believe, maxed out at this point. There, yep, up. So emerald jetpack, it's either a platinum or an emerald jetpack, I believe, is as high as you can go with those things. So it's pretty functional. It does everything I need it to do, at least at this point. We can for sure fly around really quickly or very slowly, depending on how we need to set things up. So today I want to kind of fiddle around with another mod. Today I want to kind of fiddle around with some things that we've been picking up lately, and that's to kind of go ahead and see what we can do. We do have some more work that I want to try to accomplish today, and I need to jump up here and actually go ahead and show it off. I forgot that we were working on trying to get a little bit of honey done so that we could get a quest completed. So let's go down here to overpowered. Just getting started is now complete. We'll take those, which is a little bit of experience, and I can grab that and get rid of it. I do, again, want to kind of continue to work through these things, so we're going to have to kind of look at some of this stuff, and some of this stuff is going to start getting very, 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 very painful, or at least somewhat painful here fairly soon. The easiest way to get budding amethyst is to just fly around the nether and pick up the nether, the stuff from all of the chests that you're going to get. They're just pretty much everywhere, but they're fairly rare. So I've got them over here kind of growing as it is. We need this for other things, and again, it's one of these things that we're going to need to work on. So budding amethyst. I do believe the only way I can get this stuff is either by doing some kind of a trade with one of those with the villagers, or through progression or exploration. I think there's a couple other ways to get it, but for right now, I'm just gonna have to go wander around the nether and find those kinds of things. So we did find a few flawless budding Certus quartz crystal cluster thingies, which is going to be nice. That means we'll be able to get plenty of Certus quartz coming from those eventually. And which chest decided it wanted to duplicate? I don't know. He's around somewhere. I guess we'll have to go find him eventually. But anyhow, I do want to kind of fiddle around with some of this stuff that we're going to need in order to be able to get forward with this. And that is going to include starting to think about building things like this, which is going to require us to make a whole bunch of enchanting bottles. And back like this, some more other little, just random kind of stuff that exists. There is some stuff in here somewhere. Where is it? Was it this one? Nope, that's going to be more of those. But there's going to be some stuff later on down the line, like this one for that matter, that Swift Alloy Ingot we're going to have to work on, and some more flawless budding crystal quartz, Certus quartz. We can actually produce these. It's just a long, drawn-out process. So what I kind of want to do today is I kind of want to start working on some of the late game things down here that we're going to have to mess with. Unfortunately, in order to be able to unlock any more of these, we're going to have to work through some of this stuff. So we could do some atomic alloys, invar ingots, echo shards, which I don't think those are incredibly hard to do. We just got to get a sculpt comb from a sculpt bee, which is a digger bee that has been handed a thing of sculpt, which I think we actually have some of that stuff laying around somewhere. Found some of that kind of stuff in the nether. So what I want to do is I want to start down the elemental craft path kind of thing until we can get to about right here. We need to start storing up that energy, or that magical whatever the heck it is. And this is the largest container I think that we can get our hands on fairly soon. Just kind of messed around with this just a little bit in my creative world, elemental, and there's a bunch of really interesting kind of things in it. I mean, it's kind of one of those deals where if this was a completely totally magical pack and we didn't have any technology, I would be interested in fooling with it, but looking at the way that it works, it's just a kind of another one of those little things. So it's got a lot of really neat little things in it, but for the most part, we've got the technology to do everything that mod can do, outside of being able to create some of the parts that we need in order to be able to turn those things in later on. So, what we need to do is we need to work on getting this thing moving. And so I'm going to have to look at some of these things here. The first thing we're going to go ahead and do is, well, part of wandering around in the nether, we found a few things. These are source receptacles that contain sources for power that we found. So I'm kind of really short on the water ones, which sucks because I think the water one is going to be one of the first ones we're really going to use. Outside of the earth ones, so we'll have to kind of play with it. Let's look at these quests. So we did find some element sources. They show up in pocket white form. Where did it go? Those right there. So we've had a few of these laying around, but not very many. I think you're more interested in looking for something along the lines of these. So let's see. I was going to grab all those out and get a line of them so that we had at least one of each in a box so that we can play with this. We're going to go down a little bit to the lower levels of the base where we have some of the other magical stuff going, but let's go ahead and select and obtain a few more things. So yes, they can be found in Sky Village chests or anything like that, and they can place, it's an interesting, I don't know, we'll just kind of see them. We've seen them floating around. I know there's a couple of them that I've seen around fairly close out in the world. I know that one village that we went to the first time had one just kind of hanging out right over the top of it. So okay, the next thing is we're going to need an inert crystal. Inert crystals, we gather those up by sifting crushed netherrack through either a manasteel mesh or an amethyst mesh. So I should have a few of those. Yeah, we got 39. I need to do a little bit more work on that, but again, it's just kind of grab a little bit of cobblestone, netherrack, run it through a sieve, and then kind of go from there. So we're going to do this mod down here, I suppose, given the fact that this is where we're going to kind of probably work with most of the magic stuff. So that'll get us the Elementiopedia. Cute, I love it. Elementio, love it. LMNOP, right? Anyhow, so we've got some of the stuff that's going to happen in here. It's going to tell us basically the same old deal. Elemental crystals contain crystals, inert crystals, certain things like that, shards as well. So what's cool is all the shards that we're containing, we will be able to melt them down into the various types of stuff as we go. And we can also use them to craft a few things. So let's see here. I need to follow this for a little bit because, again, new mod, don't know exactly what the heck I'm doing with it. So contain crystal, I need to make one of those. So we can do that. I don't think we have any contain crystals. What is that? Okay, anyhow, let's make us a contain crystal. Should be nothing more than that. Can I have one, please? Thank you. Awesome. That'll get us 4 more and some more experience. Those are Kentucky, whatever. We can use those things for things as we go on here. So the use on that is going to be the ability to be able to make some element pipes, element extractors, and impaired element pipes. So we probably should make a few more of those. Let's, we'll do about that many. Give me an even 20. Perfect. Cool. So the next step, again, we need to make element extractor and then a small element container that will get us another small element container and several things. So I want to try to get this to the point where, at least with the mod today, is that we're storing as much of the stuff as we can. So elemental energy needs to be captured to be used. Used an element extractor directly below an element source and an element container below it. So we need to make a element extractor times 4. That thing. And then a element container. I don't know why I'm typing over there. Small element container is the only thing we can currently make right now, which means I need to make a little bit of this. We'll make a few of the pipes and a few of these, or at least 4 of them, so we can store all of the 4 things that we have. Ding, 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 ding. Nice. Okay. Impaired thing and another container. Now, the containers, we're going to be using those for later on, and of course, the pipe, because we had to craft the pipe, is the next thing in line. Infusers, these are going to allow us to do a little bit of stuff. What I want to try to do today, I think, is get to right here. So that means we're going to have to do all of the fun stuff. So let's start with like maybe trying to figure out a reasonable place to build this. So for these, I really need to mark this a little better. Let's do like this, this, and that. I think we'll do something like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. We could probably space them out a little better if we wanted to, but no big deal at this point. And then we're going to take an element extractor, place it on top of all of these little teeny tiny containers for now, because I want to go ahead and just start storing what we can. And since we should have all kinds of these receptacles now, I mean, I have lots, at least I think at this point. We should be pretty good to go on all of those. These are random. When you place this down, it'll be random. So I'm not really interested in messing around with a random one right now. So I want, actually, I have a jetpack. Just hover. You go there. Do the earth next. Water there, and the air there. And what this is going to do is this element extractor is going to slowly pull element power or whatever this is out of that little orb and put it into these little containers. So that the next step we can do a little bit more here is we need to look at an elemental infuser. An element infuser which is going to allow us to make some more parts. So, infuser. I guess you can get rid of this. Infuser, and I believe there's several different infuser. Thank you. There's several different levels of this as well, but we're going to start with the basic one. And I think I'm going to make a couple of more of these. Actually, what we're going to do, I think, right now is we're going to go ahead and just start working on trying to get to the bigger containers immediately. And in order to get to the bigger containers immediately, that'll give me another one of those. We need to make drenched iron ingots, so that these can be made in such of a fashion. These are the bigger containers. There's even bigger ones than that, but I'd like to at least get to there first. So that means we need to speak with this one. So I'm going to do this, and a pipe. And if you click on the end of the pipe, say right over here, that will pull the energy or the whatever this stuff is out of the one container and put it into this container, so that we can then make a few of these. So I would right off to, I probably shouldn't have wasted my time on these because I'm pretty sure everything else will end up breaking, but should be able to use these just the way they sit. Let's see. I need a couple of iron ingots. So give me a stack of those. Make stuff. Alrighty, that ought to be enough for several of those tanks, I believe, correct? So we got drenched iron ingots, they gave us some more, plus we get a drowned statue, which we can just put him away for right now. Let's see what else we have. We have the elemental container, which is, again, the larger-ish storage. I think there's actually a little bit bigger than that. So we've got to get some stuff that we've got to make now. So we have to make white rock, which is going to be stone over earth. So I'm just going to break that. Yeah, I know. Wasting stuff. It's awful. Oh, actually, it kept it. That's nice. Okay. I guess I didn't pay attention to that. So, sure. Let's go over here and do the same thing. Oh, where's the thing? Right there? Yes. Nice. All right. So in order to make the white stone, which is white rock is stone in there, and we need a whole bunch of that as well too. So let me grab a bunch of stone. I might even have some of that already. White rock, right? No, I don't. I wonder where I put it. Anyhow, stone. Stone. Full stack, please. Thank you. Go. Cool. All right, there's that point. What do we got going here? Where did that come out of? Probably over here. We need to make some of these as well, but we'll get to that point in just a second. I'm more interested again in trying to get one of these built. So burnt glass is just glass, any kind of glass in the next container, which is over here. Why don't you just make another container? We're going to just do that. And this. And then you can come with me. Right there. So I'll go ahead and hook this one up so it can start storing anyway. There we go. So finally, we are going to need some pieces of glass to get to those larger containers. So I think I have some glass. Oh yeah, we got lots of glass. Okay, I don't want that much. 1, 2, 3, 4 for now in here. That's some interesting stuff. Whoop, dang it. Okay, all of those are made. So we should be able to make some element containers now that will allow us to trade out these little ones for something that's going to be able to hold just a little bit more stuff. So that's the kind of the point I wanted to get to, at least, was that we could store some of this stuff laying around and then we can put it to use. So like this budding shrine right here, we can hook up a thing kind of like this to it, and it'll start producing the amethyst stuff, which is really cool. Actually, I probably need to go put this down somewhere, just get it out of my inventory for right now. But that's kind of why we see the X down there. It requires earth to produce, and it's going to require quite a bit of earth to produce. So let's see here. We have that container, the larger container. The larger container is going to cost you all of that kind of stuff. So click on, yeah, I know, in here. Do this in here. Can I make 4 of them? Oh, we have to make element pipe. Whoop, wrong one. Next pipe. This one. Right there? Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. Nice. I'm going to have to make a bunch more of that. But just go ahead and make me about that many of those. So that should do all the tanks that we want. Which is right there. Can I make a few of these now? So now we're out of the contained crystals. Lovely, as always. Thought I made a whole lot more stone than that. But anyhow, there is a large tank. Do we get another one? No. All right, so what I want to do immediately is break that one and place this down, because this is going to be one of the ones we're going to need considerable amount of stuff from. So let's do this, and we'll fill that tank up. And I'll go ahead and get some more of this stone craft. I don't know why I'm doing this. Wrong way. Go the other way. You go that direction. We need to get your infuser back and start making a bunch of stone so that we can make some more things. So I'm going to craft a little bit of stuff up. We're going to get a few more of these tanks built so that we can start doing some more things. There's a couple of other little structures that I want to build while we're here, because we do have a lot of things we can play with. Alrighty, so since we kind of jumped through some of that, let's take a look at some of this stuff here while we're kind of messing around. So went ahead and made a few more infusers just so that we can infuse things. But essentially what we're doing is we want to try to store and make use of whatever kind of energy that we can get out of these source nodes. The node itself can drain a specific amount of stuff at over a period of time before it will have to stop and kind of recharge itself. So it's kind of why they give you the source analysis glass thingy, I guess, but you have to have a specific tool or a thing, a gem, in order to be able to do this. So we managed to get a few of those from the nether as we were playing around. But essentially what I want to do now is we're going to, like I said, just kind of let it run a little while so we can kind of do a little bit more of the fun stuff. We can do element binders. We can do some more things. But we're going to have to get to a point where we're going to be able to make a whole bunch of this stuff eventually. So let's go ahead and do some of those. I really don't know which one I want to do as far as that's concerned, since they're going to give us a whole bunch. So let's just say I'll make, well, let's just make an air shard, I guess. Or an air crystal. So that's going to take a little bit of the energy and infuse it into this crystal and turn it into a crystal that we can then use to do other things, like make more element holders or grindstones or shrine things or random other kinds of stuff. So let's go ahead and grab all of those. Nice. So we now have a few of these. And again, you can use on those, they'll show you some of the upgrades for efficiencies, fire blast furnaces, fire crystal blocks, kind of neat things like that. There is a furnace that runs off of this system that is slightly faster than some of the other things. There's also like little shrines like we have like this that will perform specific actions for us as we're kind of working on, doing whatever we want to do with it. Advanced, let me see. I'd probably need to work on making one of these as well. That would help quite a bit. It's kind of like a hopper, I think. Hopper plus a dispenser plus a bunch of other little things that you can place on the sides or around the edges of this, and it will import things from a chest, put it into the machine, and then export it out of the machine into a chest or a container or whatever. Again, right now I was sitting there kind of trying to figure out whether I wanted to actually get really deep into elemental craft because of the fact it looked really cool. But again, just kind of digging through some of the things, I don't think there's going to be a whole lot we need in this mod, period. So I really don't want to dig too deep into it. We're going to complete as much as we can. So let's see. Fire furnace. A fire furnace is a fire crystal, a furnace, and a bunch of white rock. Let's see if we can make one of those happen. What did I do with the white rock? Quit floating. Fire furnace. So that's going to require a furnace. Do I have a furnace? No. All right, and it's just a little bitty thing. It's not even very big, so we can just kind of like take this off and place this on top of this. And then if you stick some kind of something in there, like, I don't know, whatever, like a piece of cobblestone, it will smelt it fairly quickly, actually. Like that. So really neat, cool. That and the other portion of it, that's going to give us a scroll of Inferno and another golden marshmallow. Love it. Down through doing some more stuff. So there's a little bit of mystical, magical kind of stuff. So we have this, which I think I need to have a fire thingy in my inventory, and I may start actually taking some of these and building smaller deals. So like what we can do is we can do this again with a couple more of the smaller containers and place some more of these down just so that we can fill these tanks up a little bit quicker. It seems to be going reasonably well anyway, so I think we'll just leave them alone. Let's see, what else can we get into? Element holders, shrines, element binders. Binder uses much more element energy, must be placed on a full-size container. The binder is used to craft multiple items together. Neat. I'm not worried about it right now. Once we get to that point, we'll worry about it. And the point is going to be, like I said, probably in somewhere down in here, I'm going to start caring because some of this is going to require an awful lot of stuff. So I don't think it's this one particularly. Where is it? I already had that found. Anyhow, wherever it is, we've got to make quite a few of the stuff that's going to require us to play with these. Yeah, okay, you're doing good. As far as it goes past that, I think that's all I really wanted to touch on with this mod in an episode because of the fact that, like I said, for the most part, a little bit it's going to be like, extractors. We can do some other things. Source stabilizers, you can put these on to make things work a little better. So, like a swift alloy ingot is going to require us to make gold ingots, copper ingots, an air crystal, and then an infusion system, which I think I have to make a pedestal setup for, which means I would have to move some of this around. But yeah, we need to kind of work on just doing this. I need to just probably go ahead and just make a whole bunch more of the little extractors and some more tanks and just get to work just setting all these down and making them work. There was, what was it? It was the evaporator. An evaporator, we can use some of these other things. So like, well, I don't know why I'm running away from it. Let's look at an evaporator really quickly. Can I make one of those right now? Element evaporator should be able to make those. I put them in here, didn't I? Never mind. One of those. That. All right, nice. And so what we can do with one of these is say we have another little bit of stuff. So like with these slimes, the slimes are giving us all kinds of stuff for their, for these things. So we're getting raw water shards from them. And what I can do is I can take those water shards and we can say on the end of it over here, I can kind of help this along a little bit by doing this with one of these. I just need one. I don't need that either. I just want one, please. Thank you very much. We can put a container down with an evaporator. Why did I take this? Oh, because it's over there. Hang on a second. That, and then we can go do this and grab some of those water shards that we have. So like I can just grab a stack of them and place those in there, and it will slowly over time turn that into that. So it can help out with these. And it's a way of being able to produce a lot of that kind of stuff. So like we have lots of shards because of the fact that mobs drop them. So we can do the same thing with all this other little kind of random thing. Why is that stuff all in there? Wow, I'm gonna have to go look at some things. But essentially, we can kind of use up some of the materials that we're able to get to help try to supplement the energy and power we're getting off of the nodes or whatever these things are called, the sources. So if I wanted to, I could set like a whole bunch more of these up and start filling these tanks. And it's essentially what I want to do is we're just going to kind of start filling up tanks so that when it comes time for us to do some of these other quests that we're looking at down here, we can get it done. Alrighty, so we've got a decent start on this. We're going to let this stuff kind of work through and kind of mess around. Again, there's some neat things that are going to happen, I guess, if we decided to actually go down that line, so we can actually start getting into some fun stuff. Like we can, there's an is it an infuser or what is it? There's a ores. Let me look at this really quickly. So if I take an iron ore and I run it through an ore purification thingy, we can do pure iron ores and whatnot, or pure things. So it's an easier way of being able to duplicate stuff. As far as this mod goes, it uses energy again, so we could do things like that. We could do, I'm looking at trying to figure out a way to get more netherite. Netherite scrap, and I think we're probably going to use the mechanism method because an energized smelter, well, not an energized smelter, enrichment chamber. If I take ancient debris and I do just run it through a crusher with mechanism, you get dirty netherite scrap. If you take that, you run it through an enrichment chamber, you get the netherite scrap right off. So it's an easy, I think as far as I can tell, the only way we're going to get the most netherite scrap out of the ancient debris that we're probably going to be accumulating with this flower eventually. I've looked at the bees as far as scrap. If I can spell and not do the silly thing. Looking at bees, we're probably, where is it? This one? The ancient combs that we get produced from ancient bees, which we have several ancient bees. I think I have 10 bee spawns at this point. It's a 10% chance on netherite scrap with those guys and honey and things. So we may look at doing that. We may look at just doing something simple like this, because I should be able to do pure netherite. So it's ancient debris into a purifier to get pure netherite. And back up a little bit. So you get 2, so there's like 2 into 4 with this mod kind of a thing. We may try to do something like that for a little while because it makes sense to try to do something like that to at least, maximize the amount of netherite we're going to get. But we'll see once we get to that point. Right now, I just need this to kind of fill up some containers. I will probably be fiddling around with that a little bit off camera and doing a couple other little things. So I think what I want to do is we're going to call it right there. I didn't intend to spend all day messing around with this mod, but we may try to do a little bit more next time just to try to get a couple of more things going. And I will see you all in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.